to the Mookie Chilson channel, and you are looking live at a pile of stuff. This is the unprocessed raw material that makes the Mookie Chilson World Headquarters hum. These are the contents of the loading dock here in the intake department. The efforts of my spelunking the cardboard caverns of New Jersey and beyond over the past several months, and I need to process this raw material and get it where it needs to go inside the museum here so that we can move on and have a healthy and productive fall season. I always feel a little bit like a Mr. Bungle here with a messy desk.
But look at that table. It was left very messy. Phil thought a Mr. Bungle must have sat there. But Phil didn't want to be like Mr. Bungle.
So we're just going to get through this and do it now, and I'm going to move this off here so I can take it to the side and do this in an orderly fashion. And let's see, I'm going to start off. This was an eBay purchase, and I'm not even sure what it is. It was advertised as a Larry Doby postcard. And it's an image that I have not seen on a postcard before, and so it was very inexpensive at auction. And I decided, what the heck, why not? And if you look at the back, it doesn't have sort of the formatting of a postcard behind it. It's just got in ballpoint pen there, Doby, comma Larry. So who the heck knows? It may have been printed yesterday. But when I see something cool and interesting and different regarding my old pal Larry, I pick it up. And so there is, let's put that, I'll put that there. My Larry Doby postcard. This was another eBay purchase. And this is super cool in my estimation. This is a 1989 Bowman, the relaunch of the Bowman brand in Topps, by Topps, who had bought them in 1955. This is a 1950 Bowman reproduction Jackie Robinson card, of course, an iconic baseball card with the autograph, you can see, of Jackie's wife, Rachel Robinson, who was a pioneer and American hero in her own right. If you've ever seen the Ken Burns documentary on Jackie Robinson, she is just an immensely important individual in American history, just as Jackie was. And so I got this autograph on this Bowman card. Now, I used to pull these cards, these Bowman cards, out of the pack in 1989, and it was actually a fairly ingenious sort of vintage baseball card marketing trick by the Topps company, putting the Jackie card, the Satchel Paige card, 49 Bowman was in there, the Duke Snyder, the Willie and the Mickey rookies, the Mickey 53 color. Anyway, here this is Rachel Robinson's autograph, and so I'll have this slammed up at some point. But there you have it. It's propaganda. But I remember pulling these cards out of packs. I have wanted a Rachel Robinson autograph, and so this was so fun and interesting for me to pull off of eBay over the past several months. Speaking of propaganda, these guys, I got this in the mail the other day. This is a 1 out of 50, number 29 out of 50. I think I got this during Hobby Palooza. Everybody signed it. John 3D80's Kid, Sammy Thunder, Pepino, Theo, and Dan. Very cool. You can scan the QR code there. I also got, John sent me this, Pee Wee Reese card, hopping over John, and he's got his own QR code. Very cool, John 3D80's Kid. This is not a stat back version. I might have liked that, John, but again, who am I to look a gift horse in the mouth? Very cool. So thank you for that, gentlemen. Speaking of wonderful gifts, my friend the card farmer, Drew from Clean Cheap Shots, sent this over to Mookie Chilson World Headquarters. He said he picked this up at the National. He saw it in a collection, and he knew I needed to have it. And this is one of the great Mets cards of all time. There are some great dual Mets cards, Koosman and Ryan, Dennehy, Seaver, Wilson and Seaver. I mean, does it get any better? How sad were the 83 Mets? Mookie led the team with a 276 batting average, although that would be pretty good today. And Seaver, of course, the Mets let him go to Chicago in 1984, which was a total bummer. But this card is great. I love this card. And I love that Drew saw this and thought of me and sent it all the way from Chicago by way of Nebraska, or Nebraska by way of Chicago. Beautiful card. He also sent me, sorry, John, this, along with some other Mets cards. Now, this is a Cracker Jack prize. And this looks fresh to me. And I can smell some caramel here. And I'm going to open this on camera for Drew here. Let's see. Peel and lift. Let's see what happens. You ready? What did I get? Ooh. Find pick inside. Visit crackerjack.com. Follow the directions. Start playing. Is it a sticker? I'll have to investigate. It is a sticker. Very cool. Well, Drew, you have outdone yourself. Totally brilliant. Cracker Jack, and one of the greatest Mets cards of all time. So thank you. Speaking of great Mets of all time, does anybody recognize that guy on the left? On the left. On the guy on the right, I don't know. This is Darryl Strawberry drinking orange juice and signing autographs in New Jersey in probably 1984. I want to say this is a very skinny Darryl who was obviously tall and skinny in the beginning and sort of bulked up as he went along. This is from my man Clint the Fisherman over at the Garfield Show, who always has fun and interesting and amazing stuff. And this, Clint says he took this picture himself and he thought I would appreciate it more than he does at this point. Oh no, it says the date, March 1984. Duh, I didn't even see that. So how cool is this? So this is a second year Darryl Strawberry drinking orange juice autographing pictures pick. But that wasn't it. Clint the Fisherman had another guy at that signing that he saw. Look who it is. My man, Mookie Wilson. Clearly in off-season condition. He never really played with hair that large, I will say. But he's rocking that collar so well, and the soft pastels of the mid-'80s are just so gorgeous. Super cool. I don't know if he's drinking orange juice or not, but Mookie is looking good and signing autographs in 1984. No date on that one, but I assume it was the same event. So thank you to Clint the Fisherman, who always has fun and interesting stuff for me. And speaking of which, does anybody know what these are? 1971 Topps Supers. These are those very sort of thick cardboard, oversized cards with the beautiful images and the facsimile autographs. But these are different. These don't have the rounded corners. They have square corners because they came from an uncut sheet. And whoever had the uncut sheet used a hacksaw to separate these from one another. You can see this was not an exacting slicer here. So you can see lots of gouging. There's Mel Stottlemyre, of course, the great Mets pitching coach of the 1986 World Champion Mets. They're in a prior uniform. And again, there's the back. So these are just totally weird and odd, and I don't think I've seen non-rounded corners. But the best part about them is the other two in this collection were Al Kaline and Willie McCovey, two Hall of Famers in 1971. And the best part about it is, let's put this together. Can you see there? Look at the shoulder of Willie. So the cutting went over into Willie's picture, but these two were next to each other on the sheet. So the youngster who took out the, I don't know what kind of saw they used to do this, kept Willie and Alkaline together. So super cool. There you can see. Anyway, just a very strange, fun, and interesting thing that my man Clint saw and thought of me. So I really appreciate that. Super cool stuff. I got this in the mail the other day. If you're not watching the Bugsy Collection YouTube channel, my man Tim, Tennessee Tim, who is one of the most generous and thoughtful collectors, he's got some great stories, and he is just starting to tell them. There's only a few episodes in. He and his pal Tony, Tennessee Tony, we all know him as the Southern Collector. But this is a great sticker that he made, and that's Tim's dad, Bugsy, in his Little League picture there. The homage of the channel. Totally awesome. Super cool sticker. I will cherish this and always appreciate it, Tim. Thank you so much. Let me go back to Garfield for a second, because I had another pickup from another dealer there who had a set of bunch of Menko cards that I just thought were super cool. He was asking like $4 or $5 a piece, and these were just so clean and nice and beautiful. I don't know who they are. Dylan, maybe you can look these up and tell me. I did look them up. They're not, great legends or anything like that. They're sort of in the role player mode, but super clean, cool cards for a couple bucks each. And these two in particular caught my attention. That is the same player, same pose, different colors. Look at the one on the right. It's got that very bright orange background with the green number and the blue hat. On the left, about a red hat and a red number and a red bat and yellow socks. And oh, by the way, the owner of this card decided to paint in the exterior using, like, I don't know, like some kind of nail brush or something. Just a super weird. Can you see the enamel paint on top of that? I don't know why they did it. I don't know what the reason was. I assume this was not issued like this, although it is really well done. Whoever the youngster was that did this, I don't know, for a couple bucks. I haven't, again, this player, I believe, is a Hall of Famer. I don't want to, I have to look it up, and unfortunately I didn't do that. But anyway, just fun and interesting Garfield finds. Intake here at the Mookie Chilson World Headquarters. And I have shown this one previously. This is my Washington Irving N76 1888 Duke & Sons, the Great American set. I bought this raw several months ago, and it is a super cool copy of a guy who, is the author of Rumpelstiltskin and is the author of The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, and is one of the Great Americans in 1888 that Duke & Sons put on one of these cards. So I had this one, and I'm going to get this graded, but I also came across this one. My old pal Greg from Midlife Nation was looking at the Thomas Edison in this collection, and this one was also up for auction. And I'm a sucker for Washington Irving, as you can tell, but I was mostly sucked in by the back of the card, which you can't read all that well here. Let's see. It might even be upside down. Can I? Yeah. This is, what is the address? I can't even tell. The bottom line is this is the same stamp that Greg has on the back of his Thomas Edison card. It's some number West 57th Street in New York City. So the same owner of this card owned Greg's Thomas Edison card. And so now Greg and I have two cards from the same collection. And it's totally awesome. I'm psyched to own this. And it was much less expensive because of the 1.5-ness than this card, which I don't know what this card will grade, but it's funny and interesting. I find it funny and interesting to look at the different chippings on these cards. Now, can you see where the chipped paint is on both these cards? On the left one, it looks like a cowlick on Mr. Irving's head, a chip of paint, a streak of paint running down his hair. And then on this one, he's got like a dot of the I above the, actually it's above the R in Irving. Can you see that? I'm having a hard time focusing. Either way, both are brilliant and beautiful cards, and because there are two sons of Mookie, I will hold on to both of these very proudly, and the great Americans will go to the next generation. Now, speaking of my pal Greg, every once in a while he will transmit a mother lode of awesomeness in the form of stickied up cards, and he has done that very generously and graciously again. And this is a 1986 Donruss. These are like the supersized Donruss cards with a Met on top equals goes to Mook. And so there's Daryl. He was the pop-out puzzle card from this one. And so I will leave this in its pack here. And appreciate that very much. Super cool. He sent this one, which a viewer sent to him, through him, to me. And so this is the Seen It All Hank Aaron. Now, take a look at this. Now, there's a lot going on this one. 1959 Hank Aaron, of course, it's got that sort of knothole design. And in this case, it had some tape down here and some tape up here. So it was taped into an album or on a wall or somewhere, and it just got wet. It clearly got some water on it, but somebody loved this card enough to salvage it and save it, and they did not throw this card away. So this Hammerin' Hank Aaron, you know, the greatest natural home run hitter of all time, you might say, is now here at the Mookie Chilson World Headquarters. So this is super cool. Some extra tape going on in the back there. I love this card. Very, very cool. Here's another one for my second favorite Mookie, for my favorite Mookie. You know who? Here's a future Hall of Famer Metsy. And you know who that is? That's a mini Keith Hernandez there with scrap iron, Phil Garner to his left. Super cool. Greg just showed this on his most recent video. Let's hope this is the biggest bubble of the year. Sports card bubble. There it is. Kurt Bavacqua. The bubble. That's a cool card, as Greg noted in his video today. He says he saw this and knew that I needed it. This is a beautiful Yogi Berra Manager card, which I do need and will go right into my Z Folio for sure. Lawrence Peter Berra. Rube Walker, who was a big help to Tom Seaver, I know. He says he's had this for a while, but wanted to let me have it. And what is it? This is a late career Monty Irvin card, making a nice catch there for the Chicago Cubs. And Monty wouldn't stay in the big leagues much longer after this. And he would eventually go to work for Rheingold and sort of do some consulting for the Metsies. So Monty Irvin, a beautiful card, really nice shape. And a New Jersey native, which we all love very much. And for some reason I thought of you when I saw this. Oscar Gamble. Now that relates right to my Mookie picture, right? Totally awesome card. Beautiful, beautiful Indians haircut there for Oscar. And lastly, don't leave your stuff in Strong's. I accidentally left this in a bag that I was giving something to Coach, and I got it back. I told him to keep it, but he didn't, of course, because he's a Menchie kind of guy. And finally, so thank you to Greg. Subscribe to Greg. If you're not already, I'll say it. My old buddy. And finally, I want to end with a guy I think we all know, and if you don't, you should. His name is Lenny from Cardcast. He's currently streaming on Whatnot right now, and I know that because I just left him and I bought a card from him. So scan that code. Lenny is going to be at the Philly show where I will be on Sunday, and so I'm going to see him there. But before I see him in Philly, he sent me a whole pile of stuff, and we're going to go through it here. And you can turn around. You don't have to watch, but I'm going to go through all this stuff because I think it's awesome. He says, I hope you're having an awesome summer. Mine was filled with buying vintage collections. Here's some things I thought would fit in the Mookie Chilson World Headquarters. Bags 1, 2, and 3 are self-explanatory. Bag number 4 came out of a big collection from my friend John. He told me that they have pinholes, and he said, I have the perfect home for them. And he said, okay, so then he labels the bags, the haves and haves not, keeping it together, OPC, it's for me, pinning isn't everything, and the Mets-Lakers pin-back conspiracy theory. And the Mets-Lakers pin-back conspiracy theory, what is he talking about? Here is a oddly colored 1986, probably 1986 Mets pin. Why is it gold and purple, you ask? There's the back. Well, Lenny's theory is that the Lakers were supposed to go to the finals and that whoever was making the buttons bought barrels of gold and purple ink. And when they didn't go, they switched over to Mets colors. And so that's his theory. And he thinks that everybody at the button house may also have gotten drunk on the job and decided to make random colors. That is off-centered Leonard at his best for you. Now let's go through this first pack. This is the haves and the haves not. And we're going to go through this together for you. And hold on, this is coming apart a little bit. And the first card in this pack is very similar to another card we got from Drew. But this is just a miscut. This is like a diamond cut miscut. And I have to look at the uncut sheet to see who is below Mookie and Tom. But again, one of the great Mets cards of all time. And there we have 2 of them in one episode. So God bless Lenny and Drew. How about Mark Littell? Here's a miscut Littell for you. How do you like that? I don't think that would jiggle around in the slab. Felix Millan. He's got a Met below him, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I'd like to see that uncut sheet. And then look at that. I don't know what's going on here exactly, but here is a half of an All-Star card with Carlton Fisk on it. Here is a half of a Kobe Bryant card. This is the first half Kobe Bryant card in my collection. I can honestly tell you that, Lenny. But then it continues here. How about this? Billy Canigliaro, outfield. Bob Watkins, pitcher. Somebody was slicing these things up. Brooks Robinson, All-Star. What on? Oh my God. A Thurman Munson cut rookie. Have you ever in your life seen anything like this? My gosh. Danny Breeden. There's the top of the Reds rookies. Jim Little. Dave McDonald, John Mayberry, Luis Alvarado, Bernie Carbo. Just what on earth was going on here? It's so wild. So cool. Thurman Munson. Lenny, unbelievable. And then that's not all. Lenny's got a keeping it together pile. Now Lenny buys collections nonstop, as he said. He bought them all summer. And I guess he finds just the wildest of wild cards. Here is a Ron Swoboda that is taped together, literally taped together on both sides. Unbelievable. How about Larry Stahl? He's got the upstairs, downstairs tape job. Steve Hargan. This one came apart. Again, who was ripping these? Who was taping them back together? What is the story of these cards? Buddy Harrelson. He got nipped on the corners there. Childhood stars, Buddy Harrelson. Beautiful. Tommy Nobis, middle linebacker for the Falcons. I'm not familiar with this guy, but he is taped up and ready to play, coach. How about Bob Berry, quarterback of the Falcons? Ripped in half and taped together. This is a thing. But the best one, 1971, card number 734, a high number, is Rob Gardner. Now, get ready for this one. This is a Frankenstein Rob Gardner. Have you ever in your life seen a stapled together card? Somebody sawed this thing in half. Somebody put it back together. It's alive. Rob Gardner, the Frankenstein Rob Gardner. The precision with which they did this, I know there's a gaping hole in the middle of it, but I mean, they did a pretty good job slapping this thing together. But there are, I don't know, 12 staples going through there. Totally brilliant and one of a kind, and I'm thrilled to have it in my collection. But he's not done. How about OPC? It's for me. I think you can guess what this is. This is for my friend Steven from with a PH. How about the Metsies in 73? Checklist, checked off, printed in Canada. How about a Craig Swan, 1980, OPC. Lanseur, Craig Swan. How about World Series hero, Tommy Agee, with that great bat pose. Look at that card. And this is printed in Canada. And of course, the man, the myth, the legend, Gilbert Raymond Hodges, Canadian, 1970, printed in Canada. Super cool. Gosh, that's so cool. Those are headed for the Z-Folio for sure, my friend. And that's not all. Off-centered Leonard, just leaving it all out on the field here. How about some pinhole cards? Are you ready? All right, sit down. Here we go. Catfish Hunter. Now that we can see the telltale corona. It's got a blowout at the top. Somebody loved catfish. And why not? Why wouldn't you? That's got a blowout at the top. How about Ron Hansen? Lots of indentations, lots of perforations. That looks like staple marks to me. Ask Rob Gardner. But this did not go all the way through. How about these inactions? John Ellis, you can see the lefty and the righty. One at the left, one at the right. Thumbtacks for sure. Chris Spire, left and right. Buddy Harrelson, showing up at Shea. Super cool. Steve Renko, the Montreal Expo. In Shea Stadium, the brick wall that you can see there in the right field stands there that I love. Darren Johnson, same thing. Hal McRae was one of the great manager's office rants of all time. There he is. The Killer, Harmon Killebrew. So somebody was a big in-action fan and had all of these up on their wall. Rick Wise. Have a day, Rick Wise. Super cool. Ooh. Jerry Johnson, let's see. I think I might have a complete set here. Could this be a complete set of in-action pinhole cards? Billy Martin. In-action manager card. Glenn Beckert for the Cubbies. Go Cubs go. Up on the wall. How about Dan Frisella? Let's go Mets. Recognize that wall, anyone? We just saw it. I bet that was taken on the same day. Eddie Kranepool over at first in action. not getting the tag down, but getting the pins in. How about this? Yes. Look at that. Oh, this is, I'm going to need a lot more cork. Oh my God, Leonard. You're crazy. Roberto Clemente. Could you just imagine? These are all going to have to go up somewhere, Leonard. How about this? That's a Shea Stadium shot of Hank. He clearly just hit a round tripper. And he went up on the wall. And speaking of future denizens of Shea Stadium, to say, hey, kid. Lenny, you have outdone yourself. The young collector who put this set up on their wall is my hero. So many heroes. Thank you to everybody for your insane generosity and all the fun pickups. And what else can I say? This is what it looks like at the intake center here at Mookie Chilson World Headquarters. So thank you again to everybody for their kind attention and your generosity. And what can I say? On to the Philly show. Thank you for watching, and let's go Mets.